Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about some potential causes for an engine that is overheating. If you have a car engine that is overheating, I'm going to tell you a few things that you can look at to find the source of the overheating problem. Let's get right to it. The first thing is a problem with your coolant system. So the coolant is what allows the engine to stay cool. And if you are low on coolant, then what can happen is your engine can start to overheat. Now you can be low on coolant for a few different reasons, but the main reason is if you have a leak in your coolant system. So what you want to do is you want to look for any possible leaking coolant somewhere around the car. And you want to see if you're low on coolant. And if you are low on coolant and you find the leak and you fix the leak and you refill the coolant, then you will have solved that problem and your engine will likely not overheat anymore. So the first one, and probably the main one, the most common cause of an engine overheating is being low on coolant. Most of the time it's simply because of a coolant leak. The second possible cause is a thermostat that is malfunctioning. So thermostat is basically what allows coolant to get into the engine and also prevents it from getting into the engine. It allows it to get into the engine when the engine is hot, so the coolant cools it down, and it prevents it from getting into the engine when the engine is cool, because there's no point in letting coolant into a cool engine because it's going to cool down something that's already cool, which doesn't really make sense. So a defective thermostat can be a really easy, simple fix and an easy thing to check, and it can actually prevent coolant from getting into the engine. So if you have a defective thermostat and your engine is getting hotter, instead of allowing coolant into the engine, it's going to still stay closed. The thermostat door will still stay closed, which will prevent coolant from getting into the engine, which will prevent your engine from getting cooler, which will cause the engine to overheat. That's number two. That's pretty much the second most common problem. The third most common problem, common cause, I should say, is a defective fan. So you have a fan that also cools down the engine. And if your fan is defective or a component of your fan is defective and it's not functioning, then your engine might overheat. It might be a cause or part of a cause of your engine overheating. It could be something as simple as a fuse. It could be something as severe as the entire fan not working because it's seized up, or there's a serious problem with one of the components that's causing it to completely not work, and you might need a whole new fan. You might need just a small part of the electrical system, or you might need a completely new car component, a new fan. But that's another cause. And last but not least, cause number 4 is a water pump. A water pump, once again, helps the engine cool down. If you have a malfunctioning water pump or a water pump that doesn't work, then what's going to happen is you are going to experience an overheating engine. Now, it could be something as simple as the belt is slipping that deals with the water pump, the accessory belt. It could be something that simple, or it could be more severe. Maybe the water pump itself is not working properly, but you got to look into it. Now, when you find out that one of these things is the problem, let's say you're low on coolant. Let's say your thermostat is not working properly. You've narrowed it down. Okay, let's say the fan's not working. Let's say the water pump's not working. Then you have to narrow it down to what the problem within the component is. Because like I said, maybe for water pumps not working, maybe it's your accessory belt. Maybe it's the water pump itself. Maybe if you're low on coolant, maybe you have a blown head gasket and your coolant is somehow getting into the main area of your engine. Maybe you just have a pinhole in one of your hoses. It could be anything. That's the point. So you have to sort of narrow it down to one of the problems and then narrow it down to a single aspect of that problem. And then you'll be able to figure out the overheating cause of the engine. And then once you figured out the cause of the overheating engine, then you can actually go ahead and figure out how to fix it and prevent your engine from overheating. Driving with an engine that's overheating is a pretty seriously bad thing to do. There are ways to get short distances while driving with an engine that's hot, and you can kind of do it with for the most part a decent level of certainty that you're not going to ruin anything, but it's meant for short distances, to get to the mechanic shop, to get home, to get to a spot where you can park the car and diagnose the problem. But that's basically it. In this video, I've spoken to you about some common causes of an overheating engine. I've spoken to you about sort of how common each of those causes are, and I've given you some ideas about what the problems can be. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel for more car videos like this. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.